our people together in peace and in strength, Michael Savage. That's my essay to President Obama. Look, the fact is that the country is melting down. We have a president, while Iraq is burning, while churches are being looted and burnt to the ground, Christians are being beheaded, others are being beheaded. He's speaking at an LGBT dinner about the magic of gay marriage. We have Doofus, too, in the soccer world of Brazil. There's nobody running this country. Nobody is running America. I don't know who's running America, the four horsewomen of the apocalypse. Who's running it? Meanwhile, the Nazis who are invading the nation of Iraq right now have put out a report detailing every murder and every act of bombing and mayhem that they have conducted since the last 2 years. The Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, the Islamo-Nazis of today, list each operation in Iraq, the assassinations one by one, the IEDs they've planted, and it proves that they're running this in a very organized manner. Now, you understand the threat that they pose, but here's something you should grasp of everything. What they're going to do, what they want to do, is take over Syria and this Sunni triangle in Iraq. The important emphasis here is on Syria, because your government, including John McCain, has been screaming that we should support these Islamo-Nazis for well over a year now. The very same lunatic John McCain, who organized the overthrow of the legitimate leadership in Ukraine and almost provoked a world war with Russia, that same warhawk maniac, John McCain, who foams at the mouth virtually on a daily basis. You cannot turn a TV channel on without that egomaniac spouting off nonsense. These are the same murderers that he calls freedom fighters or rebels. These are the same murderers who he's wanted to send weapons to. Well, now they don't need John McCain. They've invaded Iraq. They've stolen tanks and American Humvees and God knows hundreds of thousands of rifles and ammunition. And they're bringing it all back like army ants to Syria to overthrow Assad. Now, what do you think they want to do if they overthrow the dictator Assad? Do you think that they want to create a kinder, gentler Syria? As bad as Assad is, these devils are worse. How is it that if I understand this, John McCain, the great war hero, doesn't understand this? How is it that all of the king's men and all the king's horses are so blind that they don't understand that the rebels are these people who are committing these beheadings and this mayhem in Iraq? But I understand it. How is it that they don't understand it? How is it that one citizen without any power whatsoever can see this like an eagle soaring over the canyons can spot prey? Do you understand how dangerous these fanatics are? They want to overthrow the government of Syrian President Assad so that they can establish not a kinder, gentler nation, but an Islamist caliphate in parts of Iraq and Syria that would be ruled under the insanity of Sharia law. And they are winning. They are blowing up checkpoints. They are demolishing houses. They're controlling cities. And wherever they invade, they blow up churches, and they impose the 1,000-year-old Sharia law and governance. This is what's going on. Meanwhile, John McCain is still talking about them as though they're some noble savages who we have to support in Syria. This is the same moron, John McCain, who helped overthrow a duly elected, democratically elected president in Ukraine. Do you understand that the political class is as dumb as a doorpost? Do you understand we have no hope on either side of the aisle, that these are professional idiots who stand only to gain personally and have no knowledge of the world in which they're working? They don't even understand the world in which they're working. They live only for themselves. And I say that to a high degree of certainty with regard to, let's say, 90% of the politicians on both sides of the aisle don't even know what's going on. They're so involved in their own business. Democrat has a business. Their business is building the Democrat Party, not America. There is no America. Republicans have a business, building the Republican Party. For them, there is no America. There are two businesses called the Republican business versus the Democrat business. And to them, America's business is not their business. And then we have a nation we the people reside in. Who's representing us? Tell me who. Is it the ice cream man? Is it the coffee bean? Who is it representing us? Who on the Republican side represents you? The coffee bean, the ice cream man, Clink, the gobbler, the stale bagel? Who is it? Who represents you? We certainly know that on the Democrat side, the scarf, the hawk, the corned beef, The slimy reptile and turban Durban and the water carrier don't represent American values. We understand that. But where on the other side of the aisle do we have any representation? We don't. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation.
Listen, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat. I mean, it's easy for people to sit in their living rooms and say, oh, Savage has become an appeaser. He sent a nice letter to the president. He's given up the fight. Well, you could look at it that way. But you're sitting in your living room, wanting someone to scream and curse him and put him down? And what has that gotten you? What exactly has that gotten you? Nothing. Zero. And let me tell you something else. Having worked in the fields of alternative medicine for many years, let me tell you how that works. It was the theory of those who were pioneers and geniuses in complementary medicine or alternative medicine, meaning non-drug medicine, that when a person had a disease working in their body, you used every possible attack on the disease organism that you could use. And that would include vitamins, minerals, herbs, acupuncture, homeopathy, and even allopathic medicine. You used everything at once. In other words, you tried to attack the disease organism from every different angle. And so the angle that I am using in my appeal to the president is certainly different than that which you have heard on this show and others. How long can I listen to everyone in conservative radio whining like babies, like beaten women? They sound like women who've been beaten, whining and saying, oh, he's evil, he's mean, he's beating me up. Oh, look what he just did about the coal. Oh, look what he did with the immigrants. Oh, look what he did about this. You sound like a bunch of women who've been beaten up by a bad husband. And I'm sick of listening to it, and I'm not going to join that. It's sickening. You want to talk about appeasing? That's appeasing. That's the mark of a weakling and an appeaser, is to be complaining day and night about what the president did. That's the mark of weakness, not of strength. You can scream all you want, and all you hear is hysteria. That's the hysteria of losers that you're hearing in conservative radio, and that's why the medium is melting down. No one can listen to it anymore. A bunch of ninnies screaming, oh, he did this, oh, look what Obama did that, oh, let's have Mrs. This on, let's have this writer on, look what the president did, yeah, 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 day and night. So everyone says, you know what? America loves a winner. Let's not join those conservative losers who all they're doing is crybabying. So I figured I've had enough of it. So now either I've had a satori over the weekend, as is said in Japan, which means a great insight, or something else has happened. But whatever's happened. I wrote the letter, I posted it on my website, and I just read it on the Savage Nation. I have to live with it. It's that simple. I have to live with it. Either I'm right or I'm wrong, but it's something. It's a different approach. America is being overrun by Mexicans and Central Americans on purpose. It is by design, not by chance. And those who will suffer the most will be the poor African Americans in this country who are being pushed aside and displaced by the Obama administration. Now, I will call this McCain's war, because many elements of this invading terrorist army coming out of the north of Iraq are identical to, if not a part of, the so-called rebels in Syria who have been fighting Assad. You don't understand this, but that's who they are. So which side should we be on? How about no side? How about no side? Do you think it makes sense for us to take a side in the Shia-Sunni battle, which is going on for almost, 800 years now? Many of you have to spend a little time to see the difference between Sunnis and Shias. I don't think you care very much. But it goes back to the death of the Prophet Muhammad over who should lead the Muslim community. And many of you don't care about who leads the Muslim community. Not at all, but they do. In fact, Shia and Sunnis, although they're both Muslims, kill each other, butcher their children, behead each other, all over this insanity, going back 1,000 years or more. And yet it's the same religion. And the funny part about it all is that they kind of got along for hundreds of years until Jimmy Carter permitted the Iranian Revolution of 1979 to metastasize around the world, because the Iranian Revolution of 1979 launched a radical Shia Islamist agenda that laid down a challenge to conservative Sunni regimes. The end of the story is this. What are we doing there? What did all these boys die for? Try to imagine a family in this country who has a flag on their mantle of their dead son. The son died for the sake of democracy because he believed in Bush's BS. But why should we care who wins in Iraq? Tell me why it matters. And I think